Breaking two words just ended a 75-year alliance. Israel sent Britain a message so brutal, so final, that Prime Minister Starmer's entire government went into emergency lockdown within minutes. No diplomacy, no negotiation, just two words that rewrote the rules of global power overnight. Game over. That's it. That's the message that arrived at the British Embassy in Tel Aviv late last night. And before you think this is just another political spat that will blow over by next week, let me tell you something. What you're about to hear affects every Western nation, every intelligence agency, and possibly your own country's security. Here's exactly what happened. After Britain officially recognised Palestine as a sovereign state last week, the world waited for Israel's response. Diplomatic statements, UN grandstanding, wrong. Israel skipped all of that and sent a private diplomatic cable to the British Embassy with just those two words, game over. No explanation, no room for interpretation. Then they did something that sent shockwaves through every intelligence agency in the West. They immediately suspended all counter-terrorism intelligence sharing with the United Kingdom. Let me repeat that. The intelligence pipeline that tracks extremist cells, monitors terrorist financing, and prevents attacks before they happen. Israel just turned it off cold. No warning, no negotiation period. Just done. Inside 10 Downing Street, absolute chaos erupted. According to multiple sources inside Westminster, senior ministers began cancelling public appearances within the hour. Emergency meetings were called, and by midnight, the Prime Minister's office was in full crisis mode, with security advisors, MI6 officials and cabinet members trying to figure out what just happened, and more importantly, what happens next. The atmosphere, one insider described it as pure panic. Ministers are reportedly clashing behind closed doors. Some are demanding Starmer issue an immediate public apology to salvage the relationship. Others are pushing him to double down, arguing that backing down now would make Britain look weak to the entire world. Meanwhile, the Foreign Secretary allegedly spent 2 hours on the phone with European counterparts, trying to gauge who would support Britain if this escalates further. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. MI6 and GCHQ, Britain's intelligence nerve centres, are scrambling. Without Israeli cooperation, the UK just lost its primary eyes and ears across the Middle East. Israel's intelligence apparatus is legendary. Their penetration of terrorist networks, their real-time monitoring, their human intelligence sources. Britain relied on all of it, and now it's gone. One MI6 source, speaking on condition of anonymity, called it a national security nightmare. Not an exaggeration, not political spin. Those were the actual words used. Because this isn't just about hurt feelings or diplomatic embarrassment. This is about British citizens potentially being at greater risk because the intelligence flow has been cut off and Israel wasn't finished. Their foreign ministry released a statement clearly crafted to send a signal to every Western capital watching this unfold. The United Kingdom has chosen sides. History will remember its decision. That single line did more damage than a 1,000-page diplomatic protest could ever do. Within hours, global markets reacted. The pound dipped against major currencies. Middle East oil futures spiked. Investors around the world started asking the same question. Did Britain just make itself a diplomatic pariah? But wait, there's another layer that could turn this into the biggest political scandal in modern British history. According to leaked diplomatic sources, multiple independent confirmations, Israel is preparing to declassify intelligence documents. These allegedly show secret meetings between senior Labour Party officials and Palestinian leaders before Britain's recognition letter was made public. Think about what that means. If those documents are real and if they show what Israel claims they show, then Starmer's recognition of Palestine wasn't a principled moral stand. It was prearranged political theatre, coordinated in advance with Palestinian officials. The optics would be absolutely devastating. Conservative MPs are sharpening their knives. Opposition leaders are using words like betrayal, deception and national security scandal. There are demands for a full parliamentary inquiry. Some are even comparing this to the Iraq War dossier controversy, calling it potentially the gravest breach of public trust in decades. And here's the kicker. Even within the Labour Party, whispers of a cabinet revolt are growing louder. One government insider told reporters that during emergency security briefings, Starmer looked visibly shaken. "You could see it in his face," the insider said. He realised this isn't just foreign policy anymore, it's about politics. If those Israeli documents get released and show secret pre-coordination, Starmer's government could collapse within weeks. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the United States is furious. Anonymous State Department sources are leaking to American media. "We told them this would happen." There's even talk, still unofficial, but from multiple sources, that Washington might quietly punish Britain. By freezing them out of key defence contracts, we're talking billions in trade, cutting-edge military technology sharing, joint operations. The special relationship that's held since World War II might be fracturing in real time. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Instead of isolating Britain, Israel's hardline game over response might have triggered the opposite effect. Spain announced it is fast-tracking its own recognition of Palestine. Ireland's foreign minister gave a speech defending Britain's decision and hinting they'll follow suit. Even France, usually cautious on Middle East issues, leaked that Paris will not be intimidated by threats. And perhaps most significantly, the United Arab Emirates, a key Israeli ally, just announced a £5 billion green energy partnership with the UK, right in the middle of the crisis. That wasn't coincidence. That was a calculated signal from the Arab world. They're betting on Britain's gamble. So what we're watching isn't just Britain versus Israel. We may be seeing the beginning of a massive realignment of global alliances. And the crazy part, it all started with 2 words. Back in Britain, public opinion is splitting right down the middle. Social media has turned into a war zone. Hashtags like hashtag Game Over UK and hashtag Stand With Starmer are trending simultaneously. Half the country calls him a traitor who destroyed Britain's security for virtue signalling points. The other half calls him a visionary who finally gave Britain an independent foreign policy instead of just following Washington's orders. But here's the data point every politician should notice. A new poll conducted 48 hours after Israel's message shows that 61% of UK voters believe Britain should not apologise to Israel. That number isn't going down, it's climbing. Maybe the public sees something the political class doesn't. Maybe they're tired of being America's junior partner. Maybe they want Britain to act like an independent global power for once. So what does game over really mean? Is this just a diplomatic freeze that will thaw in a few months? Or is something far more dangerous brewing? Intelligence analysts are warning about possible cyber retaliation. Overnight, British defence networks and government systems reported unexplained anomalies. Networks going down briefly, strange access attempts, unusual data traffic patterns. Coincidence? Maybe, but after a message like game over, nothing looks like coincidence anymore. Israel has a well-documented history of cyber capabilities that rival any nation on earth. If they wanted to send a digital message, they absolutely could, without leaving fingerprints. And here's what should keep every world leader awake tonight. This crisis isn't just between Britain and Israel anymore. Every Western government is now being forced to make a choice, recognise Palestine and face Israeli retaliation and American displeasure, or stay silent and risk losing credibility at home and abroad. What Israel did with those 2 words was send a message to every capital city on earth. Loyalty has a price. And breaking ranks has consequences. But maybe they miscalculated, because across Europe and the Middle East, some governments are starting to think maybe it's time to stop letting fear dictate foreign policy. This is a poker game played with oil, weapons, intelligence and the lives of ordinary citizens. And Britain just went all in with a hand that could either win everything or lose it all. So here's the question. Did Keir Starmer just commit political suicide? Or did he accidentally spark a realignment of global alliances? If Spain, Ireland, France and others follow Britain's lead, the entire Middle East power structure doesn't just shift. It collapses and gets rebuilt from scratch. That 2-word message wasn't just sent to Britain, it was sent to every ally watching, every nation weighing its options. Britons, every leader wondering if they have the courage or the recklessness to do what Britain just did. The next 72 hours are critical. Intelligence agencies are on high alert. Diplomatic channels are burning up with emergency calls, and somewhere in Tel Aviv and London, officials are gaming out scenarios that could range from quiet reconciliation to something far more serious. What do you think happens next? Does Britain back down to save the alliance, or does this spark a domino effect that changes everything? Because this is far from over. This is the kind of geopolitical earthquake that reshapes the world, and you're watching it happen in real time.